We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. There was a nation living in peace and unity. Yeah. They are people with love and harmony. Oh, yeah. They saw greatness rise up to its purity. With another people of different culture, a different heritage, bias and oppressive. Oh, I see. A nation from trigger of Africa, rising with strength and might and power. In due time, nobody gonna praise us. Rather, you all gonna embrace her. With your flag, with your flag, with your flag, with your flag. Oh, yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. Oh yeah, Biafra is our home. Oh, it's my home. Yeah, Biafra is our home.
I reminisce way back 1967. Death toll on the blood couldn't count them even. Mama screaming, child squealing, pops on the ground. 2.5 years, over 3 million's gone. Why? Cause we asked for our freedom, and we're going back to our sovereign kingdom. They shut us down when we cried, the world said nothing. Sitting back in the crib, watching our suffering. Should I talk about the planes dropping shells like rain? Suka had the first taste of a hero's blood. Abagana Zobuni wave was stronger than flood, but the juke is too strong and fought them off on the chart. Thought the bloodshed's gone, then it came again. 216 and the massacre, it started again. So bloody name, I couldn't cry tears. Blood dripping down my eyes, water in my veins. We died trying to fight the cause and we're trying to break him. It's our freedom, but the world was against us.
Wave your flag over Africa. Welcome people of Biafra. Wave your flag over all the world. See those people of Zion is here.
It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion. It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. Yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. I see the rising sun from Africa. Oh, this is sign of victory. Oh, yeah. I see future in Africa. Oh, yeah. People of Biafra. See light shining on the world. Oh, yeah.
Akara m ihe mbe na-eme mbe si ma achọrọ ofu ukwu ehi ma nke ọzọ mụ achọrọ ehi niile ma ụkwụ ya ma aka ya ma isi ya ma olu ya anyị ga-adọbiri wee pụọ na nke onwe anyị tighata azụ etu anyị nọ tupu ndị ọcha wee bịa ebe a nwa aha obodo ebe a nwe ndị mmadụ n'ime tupu nwa bekee si ebe o si hapụ obodo ya ọ bịa ebe a ọkpọrọ onye nke ọkpọrọ okeke ọkpọrọ okafọ dakata anyị isi ọ sị n'ụbọchị nke taa na anya aha anyị wusi Naijiria anyị na-aza aha na-enweghị omimi n'ime ya ngwa gị gbasị biko kọwara m ihe Naijiria pụtara enwepụ ya kọwara m ọmụa ga-aza aha osimiri ka osimiri ga-aza aha mụnwa n'ihi ihe anyị na-ekwuwu na ebe arụgidere ụlọ a na ọ jọgburu onwe ya ọ dịghị mma Nigeria agaghị emekọtanwu ihe ọzọ. Ihe ọjọọ emego n'obodo a, arụ emego, egbugo ndị be anyị, aka na-egbukwa anyị, ndị Fulani wee chere na mabata be anyị ka na-egbukwa ndị be anyị ruo ụtụtụ echi. A na-asị m na ọ ga-adị mma oge ọ na-ekwu okwu ka nwee mmekọrịta bụ nke ndị nnọkọ nke ndị ụmụnne. Ha egosighị anyị ọtụtụ mgbe ha kpọrọ anyị asị. Onye ajụrụ ajụ na-ajụ onwe ya, ha jụrụ anyị aja ama njụ onwe anyị, agbanyeghị na anyị nwe ngwa ahịa n'ugwu Awụsa, agbanyeghị na anyị na-azụ ahịa ebe niile dị iche iche na-eme nke ọma, kama onye gara ndụ kpakụ onye ire rie n'ihe ọ Ndụbụisi ka anyị na-ekwu okwu ya ka anyị cheghata azụ ebe a ruo obodo anyị ka o wee maa mma wee karịa obodo ndị ọcha na mma. Ọhịa anyị na-arịọ nwoke n'ugwu nwee nkwanye ugwu n'ime onwe anyị. Ọnwa anyị pụọ n'iro a na-etigbu anyị pụọ n'iro ekwu okwu asị abụ gịnị ma anyị ji wee ekwu okwu. Ụmụ ihe ndị a ka anyị sị na anaghị anabatakwa ya ọzọ.
Akụkọ a kọrọ anyị bụ na ọkụkọ na ewu agaghị nzukọ ụmụ anụmanụ. A na-emezi mgbe ọbụla a chọrọ ịchụ aja ejiri ọkụkọ maọbụ nwụchụ aja. Mgbe ọbụla a chọrọ ime ka Naijiria dị n'otu enwe ha na-eto esi mgbe kpam akpụrụ ndị Igbo. Ọ pụtara na anyị bụ ọkụkọ maọbụ ka ọ pụtara na anyị agaghị nzukọ mere ya bụ ihe eji eme anyị bụ ndị Igbo ụdị na ọbara ndị Igbo ahụ kpafu n'obodo Naijiria karịa.
Ọ bụ site na akpọmasị ihe na-eme anyị dịka ihe mere ndị ji oge mgbe gara aga. Etu akụkọ mba niile dị iche iche si kpọọ ụmụ Izrel asị, a na-egbu ha, a na-egbu ha, a na-egbu ha, afọ niile aka na-egbu ha. O wee ruo oge ugbu anyị asị na ogbugbu a na-egbu anyị na ọ dịghị anyị mma. Ọ ka mma na onwe ihe kwegbuo anyị wu nwere onwe njem a nke anyị na-aga kama na na-esi etete n'ụtụtụ asị na onwe onye gburu ebe a onwe ha na-ekwu okwu. O doo na onye onwe onye n'aka ụkọchukwu n'ugwu Awụsa ebepụ isi ọnwụghị ofu ugboro, ọnwụghị ugboro abụọ, ọnwụghị ugboro atọ, ọnwụghị ugboro anọ. Ọ bụ ruo ole mgbe ka a ga-egbugide anyị wee rue anyị asị mba na anyị ga-aga ka anyị nwee ike wee nwere onwe anyị. Ọ ka mma na anyị nwụrụ ebe anyị na-azọ nwere onwe tụbụ na anyị nọ n'ụlọ etu a mmadụ bụ mabata n'ime ụlọ mbịa gbubu m isi a sị na-achọghị ụdị nka. Ọ bụghị anyị maka a ga-eji wee chụọ àjà ọzọ.
Onye si na ya ga-ata anyị ahụhụ ma ọ bụ na anyị fe arụsị anyị wee na-efe arụsị mgbe were iwe gị na ọmụma gị wee bịa leta anyị, ụmụ anyị wee na-anwụsị. Ụfọdụ nọ n'ụzọ ije ha anaghị alọta ụlọ ọzọ. Nne na nna wee na-ata ahụhụ wee na-ata ikikere eze. Nwaanyị konye ka ọ gaa ubi gaa rụọ ọrụ, Fulani chiri ehi bata ebe ala ihe n'iyi, okwu ebepụ ya isi. Anyị bụ ka anyị kpọpụ onye nwe anyị n'ugwu Awụsa ahụ ejide anyị wee gbuo. Ihe ọ bụ anyị mara aka n'ime ha sị maka ha aga n'ihu. Elekwa ọdụ ụgbọ mmiri n'igwe ọcha bụ ememile ọhịa nke dị na Kalaba otu aka ahụ. Anyị na-ala nsọ ebe Biafra ndị kọstọm sokwenye anyị n'etiti anyị. Anyị anọghị n'ime mmiri kama kọstọm jiri ebe niile. Ha wee na-ata anyị ahụhụ. Anyị kwuo sịpụta anyị ka kpọchie, anyị kwuo sịpụta anyị ka gbagbuo anyị. Onye nwe anyị na Chineke na nke bi n'igwe ọ bụ ụzọ dị anya ka isi wepụ ndị iro anyị anya wee karịa ndị nke gị. Akwa anyị bụ ụmụ Chineke, akwa ọba aha anyị ka anyị na-aza, akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza ike Chukwu, akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza amara Chineke, akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza Chisom, akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza Chizọba, nna nke dị nsọ, onye ime eluigwe dị ka otu onye iro dị na anyị bụ ụmụ gị. Bịa ka iwe zọpụta anyị, bịa ka iwe napụta anyị n'aka ọjọọ ihe, bịa ka iwe lụọrọ anyị ọgụ, bịa ka iwe dịtụ ozu. Ọ bụ ọkọwa mgbe emilere Goliath, Chineke nna nke igwe ruo ememile Fero sikwa otu a mee ka Fero ka ọ guzo n'ihu ụmụ ndị anyị bịobite o wee taa akpọkpọ igwe ụtọ ọzọ. Ị ga na-edu anyị n'ụzọ niile nke ezi omume. Ọ bụla adịghị na anyị na-aga ndagwurugwu onyinye ọnwụ. Ọ bụ nwa bụ ekerere n'igwe n'ụwa, nwunye ọbụla kere gị n'oge malite n'oge ọgwụgwụ, kama anyị onwe anyị gwa anọkwa ahụ ofu ụbọchị anyị ga-anwụ n'ezie, kama ma akpọ na ogbu gị na-anọgide ego mgbe ebighị ebi. Ọ bụ ya mere anyị ji were gị n'anya isi, anyị wee na-asị nna nke dị nsọ, bịa ka iwe gosi anyị Biafra na ndụ na-abụghị n'ọnwụ, bịa ka iwe mee ka ebe gị na amara gị wee kpuchiri anyị ka uwe, bịa ka iwe zọpụta ndị nke gị, bịa ka iwe mee ka Biafra wee bịa ka anyị na-ewetụta na nsọpụrụ na ịja mma site n'aha gị onye bụ Chukwu nke abịa.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us on this very evening program. We have come on a very quick quick evening program. As we always do, we are going to be as quick as possible. You know, in our evening program, we don't waste much time on evening program. It is just like a revision to what we did in the morning. We come in the evening to revise and revisit some things. For those that have missed it, we just touched, and also we touch informations that are coming from the conventional media. That is what we do. And today we dealt with a very important topic in the morning, which I believe if you were not in the program in the morning, try and make sure you go and watch the morning program for you to understand what we did in the morning. It is very, very important for you to be part of it. That morning program, if you didn't watch it, please try and go to watch that program. You will be glad you did. It was a very great program in the morning. We dealt with so many issues. We exposed missions, so many doubts were being removed. We tried as much as possible to expose some very important informations, and everyone that was with us in the morning can agree with me that it was an amazing program. So I welcome everyone that has connected wherever you are connecting from. Please kindly like and share the program to our platform, share to family and friends, share to those who are wherever they are, who wish to join us, or those who would like to hear us. You share to friends, you share to foes also. Anybody can share to them so that they can come and join us in this very quick evening program. The topic we are discussing this very evening still have the same thing we do with the morning topic. When telling the truth becomes a crime. When telling the truth becomes a crime, that is the situation in the contraption called Nigeria. To say the truth is a crime in Nigeria as we speak. Biafra, Trump, and the fall of British control. Biafra, Trump, and the fall of British control. So this is just almost the same thing with what we discussed in the morning, and we just got to do some revisions and touch it again so that those that missed that very program in the morning can be able to get some things inside. A lot is happening as we speak. The world order is changing. That opportunity that we're waiting for is here. But I'm asking you, how prepared are you to connect to this opportunity? Every single one of us that calls ourselves Biafra in 2026, you are supposed to be busy contributing to the success of Biafra in any area that you know you are perfect. If you are there in evangelism, continue your evangelism. If you are there in the defense, continue in the defense. If you are there in what do they call it? Diplomacy, continue diplomacy. And those of us in the media, focus on very critical information. This is not the time for blackmail. This is not the time for propaganda. This is not time to respond to unnecessary talk. This is not the time to attack anybody, regardless who the person is, more especially a fellow Biafran. This is not the time. No matter what he or she has done to you, no matter what he or she has said, if you don't agree, please silently follow the direction you know that works for you. Continue on that direction that you know, you believe, you are convinced it works for you. There is no point wasting your energy to destroy the image of somebody. There is no point wasting your energy to destroy what your own brother is doing. I have spoken several times about unity of purpose. And I will continue to remind you about unity of purpose. Unity of purpose does not mean that we will all agree and speak in one voice. No, that is not unity of purpose. Unity of purpose does not mean that we will be on the same group. No, that is not unity of purpose. Unity of purpose simply means that every single one of us can be on different group, on different tone and different voice, but at the same time, we are pursuing and chasing one particular agenda. That is what unity of purpose is. Pursuing one single agenda. And that is the message I have been preaching in 2026 and I will continue to preach it. It doesn't matter whether you like it or you don't like it. Today was sit at home, and I'm thankful to so many Biafrans we are sitting at home. Our civil disobedient people are still participating, and today many people participated. I appreciate everyone that have not gone back, no retreat, no surrender. I appreciate everyone that have remained consistent, because consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. It does not matter what the enemies are saying. It doesn't matter their propaganda, their blackmail. It doesn't matter their attacks. Wherever you are, I urge you in the name of Chukwu Okuke Abiyama, don't allow anybody distract you. Do not. This is not the time to allow distraction. This is not the time to listen to gossip. This is not the time to listen to some idiotic line of thought and opinion. It is time for you to form your own independent opinion. Defend it and be sure and ready to face the consequence. That is where I operate, and I expect you to also be able to defend whatever you are saying, whatever you are projecting. The sit at home that we have all agreed on is not something that is being forced. It has been working wonderfully well for us, the Biafran people. Biafra Monday Sit-At-Home is not violence. I say it and I remind you again, because they make you believe it's not violence. It is not violence. The sit-at-home that we do every Monday is discipline, collective consciousness. It is people saying we are aware and we refuse to be ignored. That is the only thing that is it. So whatever they tell you, don't listen to them. Today, Nigeria is fighting against truth. They pay money to subdue the truth. Nigeria is paying millions to oppress the truth. In a healthy society, truth corrects leadership. But in Nigeria, truth exposes leadership. That is why they don't want the truth. In Nigeria, truth, once you speak the truth, you expose them more than ever. That is why truth is haunted. That is why truth is labeled hate speech. That is why truth tellers are jailed and harassed. That is the situation of Nigeria. But will that make you stop telling the truth? Never. We will continue to tell the truth all the time. Poverty in Nigeria is not an accident. It is a policy sustained by lies. A policy sustained by lies. That is the poverty you see in Nigeria. And when you tell the poor the truth, you give them the most dangerous gift of all, awareness. That is why they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear the truth. And we are calling on the global community to pay attention. Pay attention. We cannot afford to overlook anything. Not now. Every one of us should put our hand on deck. We must begin to look also beyond Nigeria. For decades, the world has been controlled by an old global order. For many decades, this world where we live have been controlled by old global order. And when we speak about the global order, the only thing that will come to the mind of a sensible person is the British. British have caused a lot of havoc in America, in Europe, in Asia, in Africa. So that order is going to be dismantled, and the time has come. In order. An order rooted in British imperial influence. That is the order we're talking about. The old world order. The old global order. Rooted in British imperial influence. Elite interests and manufactured narrative. It has worked for them for a long time. They manufacture narrative and they continue to manufacture. As we speak, they have manufactured a new one. They have manufactured a new one. The $9 million that was paid is now working. And when I begin to play some videos from their conventional media, you will understand what I'm saying. Their $9 million is already working. changing the truth. You see why you should focus on speaking the truth and forget about saga, forget about insult, forget about attacking your brother, forget about anything, but make sure that the truth, more especially the truth of the Christian genocide stance. It doesn't matter who brings the report, who says it and who did not say it. Whether it's an Igbo man, a Yoruba man, a Hausa man that reveal that truth and the truth remains the truth, regardless who say it. But today they have started manipulating. They have started manipulating, changing the narrative, trying to douse the fact, trying to discredit the information. That is the job they are doing in the United States. Those that collected money are working tirelessly. And on that, where African provide the resources and the West control the narrative, local elites enforce oppressions, but some has changed. Something has changed, and to speak, it is no longer business as usual. Whether people like him, Donald Trump, or not, whether you like him or you don't like him, Donald J. Trump disrupt that order. The presence of Donald J. Trump is going to be celebrated even in many years to come. In many, many, many more years to come, it will be celebrated. So, my fellow Biafran brothers and sisters and lovers of freedom, those that care about humanity, if you still value your life, you want to have a good life, whether you are a Biafran or you are not a Biafran, whatever you believe, I don't care. Whatever be your reputation, I don't care. I care about humanity. As long as you're human and you are concerned about the situation of the contraction called Nigeria, more especially the genocide against the Christians and other ethnic groups, it is not the time for blame. It's not the time to give figures and narrative that doesn't make sense. It is time for action. It is time for action. And because of that, today we are going to place some of the videos that are going to give us update of what is happening in that contraction. And from there, we can take it and then be able to explain so many other things that we explain. Because a lot is already happening. A whole lot is happening. And we cannot pretend that this is not happening. There is no way we can pretend that they are not happening. No matter how you pretend, these things will continue to haunt you. That is why we will not keep silent. That is why we will continue to talk. No matter the propaganda, the blackmail, we will continue to bring out the truth and nothing but the truth. So, my fellow Biafrans, I would like us to pay attention and we go into the conventional media to discover the new narrative, the propaganda, the evil, the work of their $9 million. It's already at work. But I tell you, Chukwu Okike Abiama is fighting for us. When you think all hope is lost, anytime you think all hope is lost, watch out. That is when Chukwu Okike Abiama will start his work. And as I'm telling you now, I am going to bring up a video from the conventional media, Arise Television to be precise, as we always do here every evening. We will listen to it and we will debunk all their lies and we will agree with those we agree with and we dispose and explain those we can be able to explain. That is what we do in this platform every evening. And we are going to do the same as we have always done this evening. This meeting and bringing information to your doorstep for you to understand the lies when it comes and know how to tackle it. Let us hear what they have to say in their own conventional media in Nigeria. Let's listen and hear the information they have, because you cannot debunk them effectively if you don't listen to them. So let's go.
It was blowing up over the weekend, but let's begin with a story that really got people talking. We begin with the New York Times that published an investigation claiming that the United States used intelligence from a screwdriver trader and small NGO operator in Onitsha, Anambra State to carry out the...
I want you to listen to the new narrative that is coming all the way from New York Times. New York Times is trying to tell the world that the designation of Nigeria as country of particular concern, The information that made Donald Trump to take action in Nigeria was produced by a man who is using screwdriver to work in Onitsha. A man with no experience, an ordinary person who is an active person who Googled online and bring all information and gave to the Republicans. That is what they're acting for. A life on a pit of hell. And their motive of making this news is to discredit everything that Donald Trump is doing. To discredit everything that you and I are doing. To discredit every single information and testimony that have been put online. This is a shame. New York Times should be ashamed of themselves. New York Times should be ashamed of themselves. I want you to listen to this very news. Listen to it closely and you will understand and know how bad, how evil these people are. That you can never, ever, ever trust them. You can't trust these people. You can never trust them. These are a bunch of criminals that you can never trust. And this is why we don't trust them. This is why we don't pay attention to them. This is why we don't agree with them. I want everybody to look closely. Let us listen and hear carefully how New York Times was reporting how information were getting in Nigeria. What a shame.
The world today. I mean, gosh, social media was blowing up over the weekend. But let's begin with a story that really got people thinking. We begin with the New York Times that published an investigation claiming that the United States used intelligence from a screwdriver trader and small NGO operator in Onitsha, Anambra State, to carry out the Christmas Day airstrikes in Sokoto. The article, titled "The Screwdriver Salesman Behind Trump's Strikes in Nigeria," details how Emeka Umeagbalasi says he has documented 125,000 Christian deaths in Nigeria since 2009, but he also told the New York Times, allegedly, that he often does not verify his data. He acknowledged that his research was mainly based on, and I quote, secondary sources, including Christian interest groups, Nigerian news reports, and Google searches. The New York Times further claims, and I quote, that Mr. Umeagbalasi is the unlikely source of research, and this is a direct quote, research that U.S. Republican lawmakers have used to promote the idea that Christians are being singled out for slaughter in Africa's most populous nation. Senator Ted Cruz of Texas, Representative Riley Moore of Virginia, Representative Chris Smith of New Jersey have all cited his work. He said he has degrees in security studies and peace and conflict resolution from the National Open University of Nigeria and described himself as a very powerful and knowledgeable investigator, comparing himself with the veteran CNN journalist Christian Amanpour. All of this is taken from the article, Not My Opinion. Let's take a look at some reactions. Senator Shehu Sani wrote on Twitter, "It's unfortunate and tragic to read the New York Times report that the claim of Christian genocide was sourced from one Emeka, an Onitsha-based screwdriver trader and operator of a small NGO who falsely claims to have documented 125,000 Christian deaths using Google searches. How such an unverified claim could tense up the US lawmakers, president, and the intelligence community that led to an airstrike is one of the most foolish and comical historical events in our lifetime. This is shameful." Well, Sir Inyang also tweeted, and he writes, "Oh, but the media has been reporting community mass killings, killings in churches, violent activities, terrorist activities, herdsmen activities, kidnappings, etc. I think Nigerians mainly want the killings and top, period." So, of course, you know, those are some of the thoughts. Of course, amid many wide-ranging thoughts, some people going as far as saying, see, this is how the $9 million is working. There are now think pieces coming up here and there. But let me start.
That is exactly what it is. The $9 million is working. That is why they want to discredit the informations that were received by the United States of America. We saw testimony. People were testifying. Why do New York Times have to reduce all the information to one Emeka with screwdriver in Onitsha? And why did they pick Emeka with screwdriver in Onitsha? Why did they use that time? Emeka in Onitsha. Why? Why did they use that time? if you don't see that $9 million working, you are blind. And that is why we said everybody must continue to blow the trumpet. Continue to blow this trumpet. If you stop, they are going to change the narrative. Today, the aim of saying this is to discredit the information that the United States have. That the information that led to the bombing of Nigeria and the Christian genocide is information gotten from one Emeka that is using screwdriver, working with screwdriver in Onitsha. These people are evil. These people are evil. Let us hear what Rufai has to say.
With you, Rufai, a lot of conversation around this. Because the man is a salesman of screwdrivers and other appliances or other, tools in Onitsha, does that discredit his ability to do investigative research?
I mean, see, I think it's a hit job by New York Times, and it is sad that media is doing this in the world.
That is the $9 million working.
Solely this man's opinion that made the call for Christian genocide rife in the country is falsehood. They say people quoted him, people like Ted Cruz and the likes quoted him and all of that. Yes, they might have quoted him, but to say it's solely his report that tipped the balance is false. So let me give you empirical facts. Bishop Winifred Anyegbe, Catholic Bishop of the Makoti Diocese,
yes,
on the 12th of March 2025, testified
give
before
them
the
empirical
House
facts.
Foreign Subcommittee on Africa on religious persecution of Nigerians, describing attacks on Christian and displacement and church destruction, all right, and an Islamic agenda to control land. In November 2025, he returned to testify at another House subcommittee on that matter. Reverend Remigus Ihula, Catholic Bishop of Makurdi, March 12, 2025, joined Bishop Anyegbe in the testimony before the House. Mushpa Ape, survivor of the June 2025 Yawata attack, also virtually testified from Benue, testified between the House Foreign Subcommittee on Africa, which originally recounted watching her 5 children slaughtered.
Several people have.
So there have been several accounts. So for New York Times to hitch it on this story and say the screwdriver salesman was the one that wrote this, it's sort of like a hit job to me. It even makes mockery of the American intelligence system. You get, if they say it's based on this, but I disagree with you, New York Times, as regards this case, and I've given empirical facts. And if there's more, yes, there's another guy called, I think, Francis Paul. He too has been a regular person that testified. In fact, he's worked with many U.S. lawmakers. In fact, he used to hold a position in Benue State. There've been many, and I can cite many other sources.
And just quickly, of course, when we talk about the $9 million, we know it's $4.5 million deal that has been done for a 6-month period. People are touting it as $9 million because it has that extra 6-month potential, and yes, but that's the deal that people are referring to when they see articles such as this. Dr. Bati, your take on this?
Okay, no, with regard to the contract with the DCI group to prove that there's no Christian genocide in Nigeria. Yes, people said, well, maybe those lobbies are already working. That's why you have.
It's not maybe. That is what it is. It is not maybe. Those lobbies that collected money, that money that was given, that contract, whether you call it $4.5 million or $9 million, whatever you call it, they have started working. So, Abati, don't say maybe. I know you are a man that does never say the truth. Truth is very hard to see in your mouth. I understand that. But this one, you can't dodge it. You can't even twist it. The $9 million is already working. All those lobbies, they are the one doing this job, lobbying, to change the narrative on the media. That is why a whole New York Times will say that information that the United States of America is working on is an information given to them by one man, Emeka, who is working with screwdriver in Onitsha. You see how they reduce it to one Emeka. And why using Emeka working in Onitsha? Why use Emeka using screwdriver to work in Onitsha? Now you understand what we are talking about. These people will never stop. The Janjaweed will go to any length to push their propaganda. They will go to them, but we are following them bomber to bomber. And Rufai have stated it here. So many people have testified. People went to the United States of America to testify. These people forgot that the American lawmakers came to Nigeria, went to camp themselves. They came. Rufai didn't even mention that one. They came to camp and they met people. They came by themselves. Rani Moore himself was in Nigeria. So what are these nonsense that New York Times is writing? Only the $9 million can make them to write this rubbish. And it is going to backfire in their head. Let's hear what this ape-face want to say, because he's very untruthful man.
Oh, Mr. Umea Balasi, I think that's the name. To claim that, it was what you found on Google and also on social media. You see the damage that this social media will cause. Is what the Americans are dead upon. I think that is presumptuous, because the American intelligence system, they don't have only one source. There are multiple sources, and those sources will be evaluated, and then there will be investigation. So to say it's one screwdriver salesman who is now screwing down Nigeria, I think Nigeria should not allow itself to be screwed down in that manner. Now, against what has been reported by the New York Times, before now, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Nigeria, Yusuf Tuha, made it very clear that, look, it was the Nigerian government that provided intelligence to the American government, and that it was a collaborative effort, a point that was again, backed up by the National Security Advisor. So how on earth did all that get reduced to the fact that it's one screwdriver man screwing things up and down that is responsible for the action? The other danger here is that it could cause problems between the North and the South. Yeah. Because now you say, let's put it where it is, Emeka Umeagbasi, an Igbo man in Onitsha. That's intentional. So he's the one who has invited the United States to come and bomb people in Sokoto. And that in itself is divisive. It's not the kind of narrative that should be promoted because of the implications. My third point is that the National Security Advisor, the DSS, the DMI, all the various agencies, whichever can move first, should invite that screwdriver man in Onitsha for questioning. So if he's so knowledgeable, he says he has a certificate in security studies, okay, maybe he knows other things that he can use to assist the Nigerian government.
And you forget that this man they are talking about might not be existing. These people can formulate any name, buy any name and write anything and feed it just to create that impression. They can go and get one ignorant man and tell him, give him money to stand on this and that. And I know that at the end of the day, Abati will always attack any place that an Igbo man get involved. You are supposed to attack the New York Times that provided this information without proper investigation. They provided this without proper investigation. New York Times have collected their own part of the $9 million. And this is what they came up with. Very dirty, useless, and unbelievable work. One man, Emeka, with a screwdriver in Onitsha. That is what you can be able to come out. To discredit the information that is in the hand of the United States. To discredit all the investigation with testimonies that we saw. Only a madman will believe you.
Because if indeed he's the one who complicated, that's an act of espionage against his own country, which can be interpreted as treasonable felony. If he has information, the same Nigerian government that has been saying, to make Nigeria secure is a collaborative effort, and that citizens have a role to play. His first point of call should be the Nigerian government to say this is what I know. So these are dimensions to it, but in this age of very positive, anybody can just go and grant interview to foreign journalists, parachute journalists.
That is it.
In fact, we should seize that his laptop and investigate what is inside.
Okay. All right. Well, that was a report by Ruth McLean, and with support from Tayo Aina. Just very, very briefly, can I just say, Dr. Bati, I think we put a lot of emphasis on the man. How about the publication?
The publication, thank you, my sister. You are always making a point.
Yes, to the South. Yes, exactly. I think that's for me, because anyone can But the role of a journalist, so the role of a media house, is to investigate that claim and ensure that it's verifiable. And so for them to take that story from this, young man, it means that they've done their own background check, or they're just amplifying a story that has far-reaching consequences without doing due diligence. And unfortunately, that speaks very badly.
Let's hope this is not another Janet Cook story.
What?
You know the story of Janet Cook.
Yes.
So are we dealing with a Janet Cook situation?
Yes.
That's
all I can say.
Yeah,
I don't want
absolutely.
to throw down New York Times.
But there are questions, more questions than answered, provided by that report from the New York Times. I'm sure we haven't heard the last from this. Now let's move on to issues around security. After more than 2 months in captivity, the wife and daughter of the slain Anglican cleric, Venerable Edwin Achi, have regained freedom.
Finally.
Sarah Achi and her daughter are currently receiving medical care at the 44 Army Reference Hospital in Kaduna. Kaduna State Governor Ubasani has visited the family and assured them of sustained psychosocial and welfare support, including decent accommodation from the state government, as he expressed his condolences over the death of Venerable Achi, who died while in the custody of the abductors. Venerable Edwin Achi, his wife Sarah, and their daughter were abducted on October 28, 2025 from their residence in Nisi Village, Chikun local government area of Kaduna State. The wife and daughter were released after spending 78 days in captivity, but the cleric did not survive the ordeal. Reiterating his administration's security posture, the governor stressed that the Kaduna peace model does not involve negotiating with bandits and maintained that criminal elements would continue to be confronted. And of course, he did so during the hospital visit. I'm going to tie this together with our next story, which took place in Kanu State. We go straight to Kanu State because of time, where 3 suspects, including a nephew to the family, have been arrested for the brutal murder of 35-year-old mother Fatima Abubakar and her 6 children at Dorai Charanchi quarters in Kanu Metropolis, Kanu State. The attack occurred barely 2 months after unidentified assailants invaded a residence in the Tudunyola area of the Kanu Metropolis in November last year. They killed 2 housewives. So those arrested include Umar Awalu, 23, of Sabuar Gandu, Isyaku Yakubu, popularly known as Chebe, 40, of Sagagi, and Yakubu Abdulaziz, also known as Wawo, 21, of Sabon Gida Sharada. Police investigations revealed that the alleged mastermind of the killings is Umar, and he's a relative of the deceased, and he confessed to committing the crime. He also reportedly admitted to being involved in other crimes in other parts of Kanu State. Now, this heinous crime has led to the resurfacing of a video documenting the occasion, which was reported here on What's Trending last year as well, when the Kanu State government deployed its first batch of 380 anti-phone snatching marshals to fight phone theft in the state. So remember that time Governor Abba Yusuf had approved the initiative, sending recruits into training at the Kanu State Corporate Security Institute for skills like identification and community policing. And people are saying, let's take a look at the tweets. The tweets are saying, if you have to create a whole force just to stop people from snatching phones, that says a lot about poverty in your region. Perhaps the money you want to spend on those should be used to open factories. So to come to you, Ayo, you have this abduction of Venerable Edwin Achi and his family. We thank God for the safe return of his widow and daughter. Unfortunately, he didn't make it. May his soul rest in peace. Kanu, heinous murder of an entire family. But we're promoting anti-phone theft marshals. Your take on this?
Thank you so much. I will keep it brief because of my voice. But first of all, I want to say kudos to the federal government in collaboration with the Kaduna State governor. The governor has said the right things, made the right gestures by condoling with the widow, and I hope that furthermore the Nigerian state can look after their mental health and also look after their full rehabilitation following what must have been a horrendous experience in the kidnappers' den. They were in for over a month, I believe, and they also had the unfortunate experience of seeing their father, their husband die in that captivity. So this is great. But what's important, as we often see, is prevention. We don't want to just see governors receiving captors, people who have been in captivity. We want to also see efforts to prevent these activities from happening, and the Tinubu administration has made some efforts or moves. Even the Minister of Defense, the security architecture have done significantly well to ensure that they're able to tackle kidnapping and banditry. Now, moving on to Kanu State, and this is what we talk about the importance and the role that subnationals play. Oftentimes, when we talk about security, and very well so, the security is, on the exclusive list, it belongs to the federal government, but there's some key things that state governors can do. And part of it is what you've identified. Sometimes a major on the minor. Look at what's happened in Kano State, for instance. There are certain factors that can be investigated, can be looked into straight from the community-led engagement to prevent incidents like this. There must have been, trends. There must have been, criminal history, his mental health state. Those are some of the things that we need to look into. It's not a simple wipe out an entire family. You have to check the mental state of such, and I'm hoping they can do that to see what they can do in the future to prevent that, rather than investing state funds in anti-police theft, phone theft. I'll see what the progress of that is, by the way. I'll check that out in terms of to what extent that has helped security situation in Kano State. But I look forward to the investigation of that and to see how that can be prevented in the state.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully they're not focusing too much on phones and negating human life in the process. Let's turn to politics now. Rivers State, as Governor Siminalayi Fubara, as has been widely reported on the program today already, described the impeachment notice issued to him by the Rivers State House of Assembly as a love letter. Now, you would recall the Assembly recently issued an impeachment notice to the Governor and his deputy, Ngozi Odu, following alleged gross misconduct by the administration. Now, despite an interim order by the River State High Friday, so the state chief judge has received and acknowledged the impeachment notice, and this is what he had to say addressing his supporters during the grand finale of the week-long 2026 NPA Port Harcourt International Polo Tournament. Let's take a look.
Really unfortunate, so I have to say this. Coincidentally, each time you're having your tournament, there's always one problem. In the year 2024, you were having the tournament, you came to me and I made some promises. Almighty God, that January was here. 2025, in fact, you already know the drama we're facing. You didn't even bother to come here this year, so I understand. This 2026, I thought you were being the finest. They just landed me a long lesson. So you understand? But that notwithstanding, we must move on there.
You heard him. They just landed me a love letter. Now, this development comes as residents in Port Harcourt have also taken to social media to decry the unclean state of the city. If we can pull up those videos of how some of the streets are looking, there's videos of unclean streets, and they're urging the governor to prioritize governance, even as the political turmoil persists.
So, when you see Nigeria is a joke, this is what we mean. Anytime you say, okay, give them some minutes, they are so-called idiotic politicians, you see what comes out of it. It's absolute nonsense. So let us go to another station also and also look into what that station has to say, because we are visiting their different stations to hear what they are saying and the information they got. We will continue to touch them one after the other so that we can be able to balance things together. Why we are touching all the stations is for you to be able to understand and also get some views from what is happening in the zoo, because there's no way you will know what is happening if you are not paying attention to them. That is why we pay attention. It's not that they have
903 903 903. Asking you not Isuka Akadam Ifanyuba Ndo Amadenu na ya bihe fetro na ejidam ka onye ọbịa bịa ka anyị bido le anya anya n'otu maka na mgbe ụfọdụ enwere ka ihe ga-esi were mee na-ajụzisi biko no kedu ihe na-eme nwa amadi agbara mbọ niile ọ gbara na ya bụ katidral ihe ruru pesenti ego ya 80% 80% of ego Ifeanyị Ụba ka eji rụọ katidral Luze katidral Jeff Ifeanyị Ụba Jeff Ifeanyị Ụba
This topic is absolute nonsense and rubbish. I don't know why somebody who made a donation for church is expecting gratification. And because you donated money, you want people to praise you and lie down and put your name in the church. It's madness. And their media is helping them to project that. What nonsense. Whatever contribution you have made to the church is contribution. You must not seek for anybody to begin to praise you simply because you want. What is the essence of telling that he's the one that presented 80%? There are people that build completely 100%. They build and hand over to the church. There are people that build 100% and then they don't demand anything. You don't know them. Absolute nonsense.
Violence ga no n'izuka n'izuka ọtụtụ ihe ka ị ga-afọ ọtụtụ ihe ka ị ga anya ndị ụka anya na-ekwu ya na ndị omenala ọ bụ ya ya akpọta mata ya sị n'ụbọchị iji ka ọ banye anya na akacha Ifeanyị Ụba ndị ụtụtụ ọma
na mbụ na-ekele ndị Super Eagles maka mbọ ka ha gbara ekweghị ka anyị gbara aka ala dịka onwere anyị jiri ihe nlata kelebe ndị Senegal wee nyezi Chineke ọkwa ekele pụrụ iche maka ọrụ God of justice, God of fairness, God of peace. Ọ na-achọ ka ihe arụ mee n'udo ihe ọkanala ya o nwere okwu onye Europe ochie na penalty sizie nwere letosigbo onye mebi adala leader they were up on or not of the Bogada or Patrick Senior, the very much net. I regarded with the Tadima. He was around one class of way. What do you have moving by? Because of the side. You know why? Every rest of the Replica, the Canada Penquaka. Yakariman Quaka, Yaka Sama Passet, see another of here. But you do not know the judges are all about a banana. Okay, now with the doors and Dala and Kaina and Dina and Civil. You the guy actually hit the over. He gets the council. You want to be one. You know, I is what we do. I is what we all get to inside. You know, I want my case in the one is up with the ideas of one wine, audio camper. Audio camper. We don't have my homework and down. I don't know what I like the civil minute. And never young one ever moved over. Wait up. So I'm watching it. Let's see another poker. I won't feel in a poker, or feel in a right. That you have to say, I don't know. I have a local food. I like to see it. Every trouble, but I want to swat. Tino, who do not. We had to carry. In Basel, you must have wanted to my. So, I won't know a fish. You are the kind of when I support that. But slowly, ever since I organized 8 years ago, Magama Pokema. So I've been doing with the Anaka. Yama, the teacher gave him 8 years old fine. Yama, a chop and Kilo. You know, I want my with this. I might get an Indian. Most likely, whoever mother to know me. You can over the right. Here's all for teaching. You know what you're going to say.
Yakazere Mazi 0700 903 903 903 Otutoma Balatigo Radio. Otutoma.
Well, I don't Adibu, I join them. The power of the man is now a step. Only to eliminate the Baka.
Akacham, if I know back, do about to see a guy the lady and Yabi and Afiato, Nisuka, a bloody no Bachechi, I didn't Mataya says that. Kachipuaya, when I got to be a little getting over Chichi, Manabaresta. Barista, I know. I'm a man to go here now, Fiato, the state, Anambra, or Catasibosi, Metotayabo, Akacham, Isoya Lazo. Abunila, Senator, if I know Valara more, Abonine Boca Catholic, Amancoma, Ibiazian Navy, Webos, Ewerabo Cathedral, Ebitorero, Cabro Panish, Barista, Cabo Cathedral. If I know Babitoro, Nani and Ariabo Cathedral, Yala more. Ever 80% of any final back on the cathedral on the name. The cathedral of Nizuka Garaga Kamaperia, Cardinal Francis Aris, Babe Yabo, Cardinal Yabo Cathedral, Our Lady of Assumption Cathedral, Navy. Onye Bishop, Nkeyabo, Navy Diocese, Most Reverend Jonas Benson, Okol. Give me this. Nobody is Ukagaraga, the kind of Yabo Cathedral, what to any night, Makana, the Catholic, the Megarian night of St. Lumba, night of St. Christopher, night, Pariseo Parian Tebu. What to any night, Amama, the Cathedral, Wahodo, Sir James Louis, Ebube, Anedo. Obonye, member of the Order of St. John International, Yabo Diocese. Aputazie yipu akwụkwọ ya o yiri akwa ndị night maka ndị night si ejike onye night a Salu se yipu akwụkwọ ya na-akụcha ya si akacha ya si enwe ihe jikọrọ ya na ndị ụka ọzọ n'ụwa ya na-eticha akwụkwọ ya si akacha Ifeanyi Uba ndo gịnị mezi ọ sị na enweghị onye ọbụla dịka gbapere ya bụ katidral n'izuụka gara aga enweghị mgbe ọbụla ha mkpanyere Ifeanyi Uba ugwururu ya dịka onye nyere aka onye nwetara ego ya ruru 80% na ya bụ katidral eji rụọ ya na-enweghị mgbe ọbụla kwanye ya bụ nwa amadi enweghị mgbe ọbụla kpọrọ nwunye ya maọbụ ụmụ ya na ya bụ ọgbakọ na ọ bụ ya iwe ya jiri si ya gịnị ndị ụka ha nọrọ onwe ha na ya akacha Barisa kedu ka esiri hụ ka
Adigbo abara anyị mara ya anaghị anụ n'otu onye ihe ntakwara na ala ekewu ndị nta akụkọ maọbụ ndị na-eme nchọpụta ha ga-adịla na katidral ga-ajụ onye mere eze jiri fe nwee
Barisa ejiri ya bụ akụkọ ha pụtara ma kwuo oge
ha gịnị
katidral apụtara ma wepụta ozi ma kwuo na ha kwanyere Ifeanyi Uba kedu ka ha si kwanyere na n'oge onye bishọp a Most Reverend Jonas Benson Okol na n'oge ọ na-ekele ndị mmadụ ndị bịara na ya bụ ọgbakọ n'izuụka gara aga na ọ kpọtụrụ onye dịgasị ndị gụnyere ndị niile nyere aka arụọ ya bụ ụlọ katidral bụkwa nke gụnyere sinetọ Ifeanyi Uba ya na-ekele ndị a etu a ka esiri kele ha mana onye na-eti ya si na nke a enweghị ekwesịrị ịkpụ ihe dịka Ifeanyi Uba maọbụ gụọ katidral a aha Ifeanyi Uba Barisa ọ bụ ihe a ka ya bụ Nnewi Cathedral
absolute nonsense.
Adigbo ihe gbasara chọọchị ị ga-eleba anya enwere otu ndị Igbo na-esi ebi ya ihe anyị mere Chineke ọwụ maka otuto gị ihe a ga-eji kpọọ were ahazikwa aha ọwụ otu ndị Igbo na-eji asọpụrụ ndị mmadụ na ihe gbasara ụka ọwụ ha politiks ihe anyị mere Chineke onye mere Chineke otuto gị ga-awụ n'aka Chineke ọwụ n'aka mmadụ
ike gwụkwara
abịa were etu ahụ ya gbanwa chọọchị na-azụ anyị enwezi chọọchị dịka ọzọ tikwure n'1 naira or 2 naira gị na-emezie ha agbata onye chọrọ ute onye a bụ usoro sie ihe gbasara ụka na mmadụ ego ole nwere ma imenya Chineke otito niile ị ga-enweta ọ n'aka Chineke ọwụ n'aka mmadụ so So ebe onye agha mere ya ha mere ometaghị ya ọgwụ ụtọ a na-esi emenye enwekwele ndị mere emekarịa ya ma n'ihi na achọghị ka agbanwe ha enwe ndị mekarịrị ya enwenye ya so ihe gbasara ihe Chineke ime ụdịrị ya biko ọgwụ ihe politiks eleta a ga-eji kpụọ ya iwu chọọchị aha maka gịnị
agbanyete ugwu n'ụdị bụ maka na e nwere ndị akpụchara akpụ ọ bụrụ na ile anya gaa na katidral a na-akpụcha St. Peter St. Paul akpịrị ha kpụrụ akpụ ịgbanye ya bụ nwa mmadụ ebe ya bụ pesentị 80 soro ya bụ katidral
adị Igbo orugbe nke otu aha ịbụ mmadụ na chọọchị maka gịnị onye ọbụla o mere ya dịka ọhịa mmụọ na-ekwu n'ọbụla o mere ya Chineke na ihe gbasara chọọchị onye kwuru oge ahụ okwute ya ọ bụrụ ihe politiks ma ọ na imere ndị obodo ndị obodo nwere ike n'onwe ka ha tụọ egwu ugo ịghọtago ma ihe gbasara ụka ndị Igbo anaghị awọchipụ mmadụ onye ọ na-awọchipụ Chineke enwere otu ọ dị so onye ahụ onye ahụ adịrị ometaghị ya ihe ọbụla imere Chineke nyere gị ego ahụ
barista enwere ihe ọzọ kwuru ọ sị na nwunye Ifeanyị Ụba ezinụlọ enweghị mgbe ọbụla kpọrọ ha maka ya bụ ọgbakọ
must they be called?
Maka na ihe na-anyị ozito ndị ka ọzọ ndị tiri ego gịnị emekwado ha
nwunye ha
adị Igbo enwere ndị ọzọ tiri ego na chọọchị ahụ ọwụ na anya enwe ndị ọzọ mere ihe mere enwe ndị ọzọ tiri aka n'ụzọ dị iche iche ịkpọpụtala n'otu onye na-edozi ya ndị ọzọ ga-ahapụzi n'ụlọ chọọchị kwuru na ndị ahụ edewu ya ọ na-abalansị akọọlụ ọbalansị ha
ọ sị na ọ bụrụ na ilewe anya n'uduru pesentị ego ya bụrụ na ya bụ katidral
adị Igbo ya awụghị okwu agwala gị ego Chineke nyere gị ego ahụ Chineke nyere gị ego ahụ si inyeghachi ya ha ọ dịghị ụbọchị anyị achọ m ka a na-eche echiche otu a ihe gbasara politiks okwu ihe gbasara politiks ịbịa lecha ya na adị Igbo agbaghị Chineke ga-esi ọ na-asị na conscious of the glory of God ọkwa ya a na-ejide oke eto ndị mmadụ na chọọchị n'ala Igbo ka mgbapụ unu ihe ọbụla imere Chineke imenye Chineke n'ala Igbo ịbịa sị na a ga-werezi ahụ gị mee nke mba ọ daba ha atọ ha nwere ike ịkpọ agwa ha kelee ha ma obi gaa n'ụlọ ha kelee ha maka ihe ha mere ọwụzi ga were ha kwụwa n'iwu nkwa ndị ka ọzọ emeziaje otu ọ na-anọghị iwu ọ bụ ndị mmadụ ga na-eyiwu ụka aha na-eme ihe nọ n'ihi ya na-emezi ya mana adị Igbo chere ka m gwago maka na enwere ihe egwugwuru okwu na-anụrụ ụka ịghọtala egwugwuru okwu na-anụ n'ụka adị Igbo ichetara mgbe a dara atọrọ Nnamdi Kanu na Kenya ichetara ele onye nwe ụgbọelu eji gatọrọ Nnamdi Kanu na Kenya kedu onye kwere wepụta ụgbọelu ya ka e were ya gatọrọ Nnamdi Kanu na Kenya ime onye ọnwụ iwe ihe a na-ewe ndị ụfọdụ so ọ gaghị afụ m n'anya na agwala ndị na-achọrọ ịnụ aha ndị ụfọdụ ebe ahụ ka anyị aghara ịgbagata iwe ihe aha na-eweresi ndị ụfọdụ mana atọni jeneral alụ a nara atụgharị ya na ndị EFCC kedu ụdịrị enyi ya na onye mere ihe agha kedu ihe jikọrọ ha echetara mgbe Kochani si na onye agba nwere nsogbu onye agba gudajatu ọgbama na ya aha wụlọ ya onye ahụ pụrụ ezigbote okwu mere na ndị Igbo nọ na National Assembly ga-akpọ ha sị ha bịa anyị awụkwa afọ Igbo na afọ ya ha na-eme $100 million Kochani si bere afọ Igbo ọ na-akọwa ya na telivishọn otu o jiri nwanne ya ka nwanne ya akpụọ ya chandu biko agwala m onye eso onye nọ na mmiri aga amị ya nụ so o nwere ihe ụfọ ya eme ahapụ ya maka a na-ekwucha anya otu o siri dịrị ihe gosiri ime ya pụta ichetara mgbe na-adị ndị ha na-amaghị ndị ọwụ tụrụ ya mgbe ọ nwụsị mmebi ya bulletproof ya wee very serious attack gịnị ka eji na-atụgharị ya gịnị ka o mere adị Igbo gịnị ka o mere na-akara atụrụ ya aha biko ọwụ onye niile ka a ga-ekwu.
Barrister, enwere ihe i kwuru na ọ ka bịa gụgharịa aha ya ka ọ bụrụzi aha katedralụ ahụ enwere ịma atụ ya bụ onye knight enwere ọtụtụ ịma atụ dị iche iche ya bụ nwa amadi nọ na-enye ndị mmadụ Sir James Louis Ebube Anedo ya bụ onye knight Order of St. John International na ya bụ diocese enwere ọmụmatụ dị iche iche onye maka na ọ bụ onye steeti Anambra ọ sị na ọ bụrụ na ị bịa na Anambra taa na Chief Cletus Ibeto naanị ya naanị ji aka ya rụọ ụlọ ụka n'Otobo bụ ebe o si ọ sị na ozugbo Chief Cletus Ibeto rụchara ya bụ ụlọ ụka kedu ihe ndị ụlọ ụka mere ha gụọ ya bụ ụlọ ụka aha mmiri chukwu St. Cletus Maazị Cletus Ibeto agụzie ya ọ bụrụ aha mmiri chukwu ya bụzi aha agụrụ ya bụ ụlọ ụka o ji aka ya rụọ ọ bụkwa naanị ka ọ si gị gaa n'ọzọ ụgbọrọ na steeti Anambra kwa na Sir Jerome Udoji na o jikwa aka ya rụọrọ ndị be ha ụlọ ụka n'ụbọchị eliri ya n'ime ụlọ ụka ahụ na-esi ụlọ ụka ahụ ihe a bụ ọmụmatụ ndị oge site n'isi ihe mere Ifeanyị Ụba na-ekwesịghị inye ụdị nkwanye ugwu a
Asị Igbo agbata aka si na ngụ ihe mgbe ụfọ ihe a na-elekwara anya wụ anwụ ọma inwere tupu a na-eme ụdịrị ihe ndị a abụghị ya anwụ ọma inwere ọ na-adị mkpa na ihe so enwere ihe m dara arụrụ aka mana ọ dịghị anasosiri maka na asị onye nwụrụ anwụ ọ dịghị mma ikwu ọjọọ maka ya maka enwere ndị ihe niile ha na-emecha mgbe ha dị ihe ọjọọ ahụ ndị ori ghọtara mana ọ wee emechanụ aka akụkọ enwere otu onye nọ na Naịjirịa mgbe ọ dị ndụ kwuu niile a na-eme na Naịjirịa ya na ndị ahụ na-ada ntị ya na ha wee ha na-erikọ ịghọtara ọ bụ onye ofe mmanụ mgbe anyị na ha na-eme ihe a ya na-ere ụmụnne ya na-sakrifais ha na ya ji ihe na-emeji ego mgbe ahụ ya na-etu ọnụ sọ naanị ya wụ onye nwere ego na Yoruba stan ibe a na-ezi ha na-eri na ọ bụ ego ochi na ndọrọ m na-akpa mmesịrị na ndọrọ ya emepụghị aka ala Igbo n'ikpeazụ ọgbọgwụkwa ndị agha ndị ọrịa agha ndị amị ọkwa ha zọtụrụ ya mgbe o nwunyere ihe ha tụ mba na ọ ga-aga mere ụmụnne ya ji egbe ya aka sam ọwachi ichetara kọmpini ya nọ na ele ahụ ya na mapụrụ ugbu ya ọkwụta ka ha niile ji buru igwe ahụ ala Igbo ya wụ onye nọrọ n'ụwa ya dọrọ adị ọcha maka na echi akụkọ ga-akọ akụkọ ga-akọ ọya nye mụọ na-agbalị ihe ọ sọkwa gị mee ibe isi igwe ndị mmadụ ha ga na-erekọdụrụ onwe ị na-eme ihe ahụ ị na-eme maka ile anya mgbe nwoke ahụ dị ndụ nwa onye abụla agbaghị onye ofe mmanụ ọrịa na-etinye filantrọpi enwere na Naịjirịa ịbụdị ndị ugwu ọ na-eme mefere ha ọwachi mana mgbe gịnị mere asịkwa azụ nke asị ha otu o jiri nara onye ọcha kọmpini ihe agha nwunye ya mere ka ọ bọrọ onye ọcha gasie ya mmanye so ya pikio were ya ndị n'ụba lekwa onye agha batara ihe ya na ọ na-amụ ụmụ isi mọch na-ewepụghị onye a na ya ga-anapụta ego Naijiria ji ha otu o jiri napụrụ onye ọcha narị anara ya kọmpini ya mere eme so ihe ọbụla mmadụ na-eme sie na ọ dị gleva n'ikpeazụ Chineke ọ ga-echukwu n'ụzọ dị otu o ịghọtara akọ akụkọ ya akọ akụkọ ya onye mụọ na-agwa gị ndị niile sapọta jiri Biafra eleba ha ugbu a ọgwụgwọ na-erigret ya a na-erigret ya ọ bụzụ onye m chere mbe ka ịghọta ahụ adịghị ahụ ime ka ndị Igbo mara onye na-ebe ọnọ na-eme ya ọ na-eme were ụmụnne ya were ụmụnne agụ di ya ha na-atụ okwu ha na nne ya ala na-agụ were ndị Igbo na-agụ oge ka aha gaala adị Igbo n'ụsọkwa onye aha mee n'ikpeazụ anyị ga-ewepụtara ele ahụ ya book of remembrance maka na onye si ndị Igbo anyị gaji wepụ onye akpata anyị azụ anyị gaji wepụ onye akpalata anyị azụ were anyị na-aṅụ mmanya awụta isi aga n'ihu gaa tụ ihe usoro gị ga-anwụ ya m na-akpọrọ gị ọwụ ndị Igbo chọrọ na ha wụ ụmụ na ha wụ eze onye agwụla m. Ha bụrụ ha ga Abuja ha ewere ndị Igbo were anyị ire anyị ha lọta ha sị ndụ unu chere onye kwukwuru ewetala iche na nwanne gị na nwa nwoke mmadụ ụlọ ele gị nke ahụ adịghị eme ọzọ onye ọbụla kpachara anya ya.
Barista onye na-eti agwa enwere ihe ọzọ maka na ọ bụ ya na-ewu ewu ugbu a n'ikpe nzirịta ozi ọla ọhụrụ dị iche iche. Anyị ga-agbakwa mbọ ka anyị kpọta ya ebe a ka anyị na ya nwee ka ọ gwa anyị ihe bụ iwe ya ka o ji kwuo na ya akachala na ndị ụka nọrọ onwe ha ya nọrọ onwe ya ọ sị ya dị ekpezi. Barista ọ sị na n'oge Sinetọ Ifeanyị Ụba nwụrụ na ya gakwuru onye bishọp na-ahụ maka Nnewi n'oge ahụ ya bụ katidral aka na-arụ ya arụ na ya gwara ya bụ onye bishọp si oke ugbu a onye ukwu na onye nta agụgo mbọ niile Ifeanyị Ụba gbara iji hụ na o wulitere katidral a ugbu a ọ nwụọla ọ bụ eziokwu na arụchabeghị ya bụ katidral ngwanụ ka emere ya ụka akwamozu n'ime katidral a iji bụ nkwanye ugwu akwanyere ya na mbọ ya niile na ya bụ ịrụ katidral mana ọ sị na onye bishọp a sị na ya agaghị eme nke a. Ihe a bụkwa otu ihe ọ kọwapụtara bụ iwe ya n'ebe katidral na bishọp nọ.
So gịnị mere Ada Igbo gwa m ihe merenụ so ọ dị na ewetapụ ebe m na-aga ewetapụ ihe mere na Abi oke ndị anya na-eri aṅụkwanụ na Abuja gịnị mere abịa akwụri ya ugo pụrụ iche gịnị mere abịa ha adịghị esụpụzụ ịma ihe gburu Ifeanyị Ụba esụpụzụ ime nyocha mara ihe gburu ya ndị agha ha ga na-eri aṅụ eleda ha nọ mgbe ya mere asụpụzụ ịbịa ya kwụri ugo pụrụ iche kedu ndị o jiri hapụra pati ọbọgọ YPP banye na APC pati ọ na-ọfọ o jiri ekwu ya mee ihe niile kedu ihe o ji hapụ abụra na APC ịmara ndị nọ na APC ndị ha wụ Ada Igbo ịmara na ndị nọ na APC ndị ha wụ ọgwa ka anapụta Soludo Anambra steeti were ya ọzọ so hapụrụ ya biko atakọ ihe nọ na mmiri aga anụ ya anụ bọtụ esi ekwu ndị Igbo kpachara na anya unu ka a ghara iyi uju unu dọmpụ unu onye nwa na-ekwu ọ bụdo ha taa chekwa ndị ugwu mgbe Zik na NCC na FPC mere ihe gịnị mere n'ikpeazụ agbaghị m mgbe Chukwu na-eme ihe ọzọ na Zik ekweghị iti ihe ọnụ ugbu a n'ebe Zik nọ agbaghị Zik mere ya dịka ndị Igbo ha lara azụ na Naịjirịa ndị ha na-akwụ na indipendensị na-achọ ọdịmma nke ha Awolowo Ahmadu Bello Zik Afrịka ha na-asụ bekee niile nọ n'ụwa ya chọrọ Zik of Africa ya chọrọ Zik of Nigeria ya chọrọ Zik adịghị weka ọ nwetara ibu Zik of ndị Igbo nweta ha
Zik of Nnewi ise nweta ha
Zik of ndị Igbo ọ nweta ha
Zik of Nnewi nwetara
ya ndị ọcha kwere n'aka anapụta indipendensị a karịa ewere ndị Igbo towe n'iwu ugbu a n'ebe anyị nọ Ada Igbo n'ebe anyị nọ Pijọriwu na mbụ ọkụhụ ya ọ mmadụ mere anyị ihe a nwanne anyị ndị Igbo nọ n'isi mgbe Naijiria na-efu ihe anyị na-efuru uwe ya Ada Igbo anyị na-efuru uwe ya kedu ebe ndị Igbo nọ mgbe arụ a mere onye sị mba ugbo onye ọbụla gwara ndị Igbo ha ekpere ya ọbụla gwara ndị Igbo ha ekpere nke ọzọ si ya nọ n'Igbo steeti agawa Abuja na-aja ehichara ha shu gọvanọ dịka Ada Igbo dịka enweghị ha nara adịghị m ike nọ n'ọtụtụ enweghị ihe adịghị mma ndị Igbo ga-atụ onwe ha otu ha jiri nwụla sekọnd klas citizen ya ga ejuzucha ha for everything emechakwa atọpụọ ha onye ndị na-ekwebi onye ha na-erite enweghị ihe ọbụla a na-erite n'aka ndị Igbo a na-aga na Abuja enweghị ha na-eji ewelata n'ụlọ ka atụba yes ya anya ha yi dowe ndị Igbo n'iwu ọ bụ ericha anya enwe krọmt nọ na tebụl asogbu unu bịa were nke a ewega na-ahụ isi na ha so na ha na-eme kedu ebe ha ha bụrụ ha gụwachara
Barista ka anyị lenye anya otu onye n'ime ndị ọkaiwu Maazị Nnamdi Kanu n'oge gara aga bụ Aloy Ejimakọ apụtala ma kwuo si n'oge emere mmemme ekeresimesi na nke afọ ọhụrụ na ya gara ala Igbo na ya gara n'ọtụtụ ebe n'ala Igbo ya hụrụ ka ndị mmadụ ụmụafọ Igbo si egosi iwe na ọnụma ha n'ebe mkpọrọ ọka a tụrụ Maazị Nnamdi Kanu nọ. Aloy Ejimakọ gara n'ihu ma kwuo si na ndị Igbo si na ndị hụrụ ihe emere ha na 2027 ka ha ga-azaghachi ihe a emere ha. Barrister, ọ dị gị ka ha dịla njikere dịka ya bụ nwa mmadụ si kwuo alọ ya ejima ọ sị na ọ bụ 2027 ka ha ga-egosi iwe
ndị Igbo a na-anabata na APC ha bụ gọvanọ ha nabata na ha bịa yọrọ vootu adị Igbo ha bata n'ọda bụrụ Tinubu ihe ọbụla ha na-ekwu erecha ya ha bịa yọrọ ha bịa mmemme were vota kaadị nọ n'akpa were vootu were ma dị ha ịnụ ebe a ha mara ihe mgbe aka a ga-amata na ndị Igbo ma anyị emepele ha anya ihe anyị na-ekwu na VOP o mepere ndị Igbo anya mara na akịrị mmenụ ekwuote ya onye ọbụla jiri ndị Igbo gaa ṅụọ garị na Abuja ma ọ gaa ṅụọ biya na Abuja ya lọtawa anyị na-eti ya mele ebe ọ na-adị na kampen mele onye ga-azụ ya anyị na-eche ha mgbe a ka a ga-amata na ndị Igbo ma ihe anya mụwa kwu ekwere m na ya ahụ kwuo anyị emepele ndị Igbo anya.
Barrister, ọ bụrụ na ọ ka bụrụ na Igbo Voice of the People 90.3 FM ka ihe masị abịara gị aka na steeti Abia. Dr. Alex Oti apụtala n'ụbọchị Satọde ka o kwuru ya n'otu ụlọ ụka Seventh Day Adventist Church bụkwa nke dị na Omeka isi ala Ngwa North ka o kwupụtara ya n'egwu 2027 nlọghachi ọchịchị ya nke ugboro abụọ na-ekweghị onye ga-enwe ike ịkwụsị ya. Barrister, ikwenyere na nke a ọ karịsị gosiri mmetụta ndị gọvanọ ndị chịrị steeti Abia n'oge gara aga Sinetọ Joseph Kalu Diodoji okezi ikpeazụ dịka ha bidoro n'ugbu a hiwe otu ha kpọrọ the team kwa nke ha chọrọ iji were chụpụ ya bụ nwa amadi na 2027 mana ọ sị na ihe ndị a ha na-eme bụ na-enweghị onye ọbụla ga-akwụsị nwunye ya ịga ọchịchị nke ugboro abịa na steeti Abia na 2027 na onye nwaanyị mere ya n'afọ 2023 na onye nwaanyị ga-emekwara ya ọzọ n'afọ 2027.
Mgbe aha ndị Abia anọ ha na Bọnde ugbu edipletela ndị Abia so onye ahụ dị n'otu ọnụ ọ gaghị eme ọzọ ageta bifo n'oge prọpati ya chere na ọbachọrọ idoze m na-erule mee otu ndị Aba ga-eji meghe anya ha laghachikwe back to Egypt ọwụghị ikwu okwu ọwụghị make noise aga m ewu otu ndị Aba Enyimba otu a ga-eji meghe anya ha ncha abaha n'anya anọ na mmiri ncha abaha n'anya esi ebe a ha nọ pụta ugbu a dabara n'ọkụ adịgbo ihe m ga-agwa ha na Abia studio ihe m ga-agwa ha I'm not joking anyway o wepere ike ime ndị Aba unu jikere ya wụ ọgụ between light and darkness mele n'otu darkness ga-emere light it can never happen. Anyị mụwa na-ekwu ya tụrụ uche ọnụ ya bịawa ya gwa anyị otu ihe na nne ya jiri chụọ Abia ma ọ chere gwa anyị ahụ onye ahụ o mere ọ na-ekwupụta ya gụchie anọ ya adị mkpa n'ọrụ ụlọ Abia ma nye Alex Oti mere na abụ mmeri ya pụọ na asị ọ na-etu ọnụ ya tụrụcha na ya bịawa Abia teghị ya.
Barrister, ya bụ ntụliaka
Igbo dịka ka m ebe nke a akpọghị otu onye ahụ bụ onye gwara anyị si olugbo mgbe ndị Igbo ga-achị olugbo so nyewa n'onwe ya anyị enye gị ohere too much ọ nọ na dat sinet since 2007 na ya ọ nọrụzi ebe ahụ amaghị m ejiri ahụ ya rụọ sinet so oge ebe mgbe ọ ga-apụ ebe ahụ ndị Abịa ndị Igbere unu cheri ya vote onye out ya ọrụ rigin for real unu echeri ya maka na ịrachi ọdịla too much ọwụ ya nwee sinet ahụ enwere ndị ọzọ nọ na ebe o siri pụta ha chụpụ ya ka ọ mara na dike na ibi ya ọ gbalị n'ọnụ agbachiri aka ekike mgbe ya na-esi ilu na enwere ihe ọwụ.
Barrister, ya bụ ntụliaka emere na mba Uganda ntụliaka onye isi ala bịala na njedebe Yoweri Kaguta Museveni enwetala mmeri nke ugboro 7 ya bụ nwa amadi onye isi ala mba Uganda ugbu a ọ dị afọ 81 etiwu adịghị enwetala mmeri ugboro 7 ọ bụkwadị n'afọ 1986 ka o wetara ọchịchị na ya bụ mba dịka onye ndu nke ndị agha isi n'oge ahụ kamgbe 1986 ka nwa amadi anọ n'ọchịchị n'ikpeazụ n'izuụka gara aga o nwetara mmeri nke ugboro 7 ya ihe siri kwuru ugbu a onye ya na ya so dọ ya bụ ọkwa onye isi ala bụ Bobi Wine akpọpụrụ ụmụafọ Uganda niile si ha pụta ka eme ngagharị wepụta udo iji were ma ya bụ pụtara ya bụ ntuli aka ọkwa onye isi ala na mba Uganda aka n'elu. Barrister, ọ bụrụ na ị gaa na mba Afrịka taa ọtụtụ n'ime ha ọtụtụ mba Afrịka nọ n'ọnọdụ a ndị isi ala ha mere oke onye ma ha n'ọchịchị ọ sị na ya ga-ada ebe ahụ kwụọ. Barrister, kedu mgbe ihe a ga-akwụsị n'Afrịka onye 30 years 90 years ha nọrọ n'ọchịchị ha ekwechi ọ bụla dị mgbe ha ka nọ na-akpa ọrịa a ga-eduru ha ha eji tụọ vootu weta mmeri chịrịkwa mba ha
adịghị ndị a ị na-ekwu okwu ha ejiri nwayọọ nwayọọ na-akpọ revolushọn enweghị a na-akpọ revolushọn nke a mere na Russia nke a mere na French ile anya oge eruole mgbe ọ ga-eme na Afrịka political revolution mgbe o mere na Afrịka ndị a ga-anụ ntị I'm not joking ya na-akpọpụ onye ọjọọ otu onye ameri ya na Cameroon nke emekwu ya na Uganda nke nwaanyị nke ọzọ eme ya na Angola ka ọ dị Tanzania so ile anya ọchịchị akụchi abatara na Nigeria ha ewere demokrasi na-akọpụ ya oge ekwere ebe African News ga-ebiri maka ọkpọkọta asụsụ ka a na-ekwu okwu ya nya onye nọrọ ya nọ agada gbachiri ụzọ ilekwa anya na ọ kụziri ya na Canada na Nigeria so ya ahụ esi chọ ha ga-ewerekwa aka gị na-akpụ ya agaghị ime adị Igbo na ọsụ ọ ga-emerịrị maka na ihe ndị akpa machie ya ọnụ isi chọ ya nwụ n'ụlọ gị mana ya ga-akpara anwụ kpọta n'ụlọ gị ga-akpara nkụ anwụ kpọta n'ụlọ gị so ndị a niile na-ekwu demokrasi ihe one mere na demokrasi biko ihe one mere na Afrịka demokrasi ajụọla m Chineke si eleghị o jiri kpọrọ ụdịrị ndị akpọta n'Afrịka ka ha wudu ndị ndu anyị ele otu Afrịka ejiri were ụdịrị ndị akpọsi Afrịka n'ụwa n'otu ndị Western world ndị ọcha n'otu obodo ha dị witi ya adịghị ike a niile Donald Trump na-agba n'obodo ndị ọzọ o nweghị ike ịtara ụdịrị ha na Amerịka Donald Trump enweghị ike ya na-eru ime ụdịrị ihe a na Amerịka imite na ọkwa ndị pati a ga-evotu ha tọpọ ọfịs mana ebe a ya ọbụla onye isi mere ndị pati a sọpọtụ ọya ya ọbụla o mere ndị azụgburu azụgba sọpọtụ ọya ịtụ ndị anọ n'Afrịka na ha wụ mmadụ ọ na-esopọtụ ndị ọ na-azụ ụmụaka na-aga enyo ha ele otu ha dị adazụ arịrịọ ha na-eme tọrizm bikọs ha mma nwụọ ndị anyị nọ ndị a n'isi otu a na-eche eche echiche onye anọ na Uganda ọ bụghị ihe mere isi ya mgbe ọ nọrọ na Uganda dị ọkwa nke ahụ mechara nwụọ na Israel mgbe a chụrụ ya ọsọ Julius Nyerere bụ ndị sụanụ tụpụgharị isi ya n'ọkwa ma arụrụ arịa karịrị akarị anaghị eme nye mmawu na ihe hapụrụ ọrụ wọndụ ọrụ ga-ahapụghị abụghị ọgwụ ahụ na ya ma nke anọ na Cameroon ha ga-ahapụ oche aha wọndị ha niile ha ga-ahapụ oche aha wọndị then Israel adakọ akụkọ ha ndewo adị Igbo
So we have had a lot of informations. This is a very interesting one. Barrister Darlington is always a very outspoken person, in as much as we don't agree in everything. Sometimes he talks rubbish and sometimes he talks sense. So whenever he speaks sense, we accept, and whenever he talks out of point, we also call him out. So this interview was a very nice one, and all the questions that were asked, I think he responded accordingly. And we will continue to engage and also get into so many other programs that they are having there to also showcase what is actually going on. And we will continue to say it the way it is. We will not hesitate.
issues actually be developing Nigeria's political space. As you do know, 2026 is a year of it's called the political season. It's a political year precisely. And yes, Wike did not disappoint us by kicking off accurately, immediately with precise measures, starting with the imbroglio in Rivers State. You already know the situation between Wike and Fubara. Well, interestingly, the political space is still rife, and you know all well that political parties and political affiliates and political elites are defected. One of such interesting mentions we'll consider this evening is the Kanu State Governor. Now, you know that we heard there is a situation between the Kanu State Governor and Kwankwaso. Kwankwaso was not in support of Yusuf defecting to the All Progressives Congress. He believes that there is no need for him to do so. He already had the love and the support of his people. So what was exactly the point of having to defect to the APC? Meanwhile, we heard that there were plans already down for him to defect, but there were some setbacks. What were the setbacks? Well, according to stories in Asurila, or basically within the camp of Governor Yusuf of Kanu State, the APC had denied having to promise him any automatic ticket. Now, he actually has been waiting around to see the president since Wednesday evening. The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu returned from his 20-day hiatus across the globe, specifically Abu Dhabi, France, and possibly Rwanda, based on what we were told by his spokespersons. So he has been in Asura for this while, having to see the president. The president has actually asked him that he needed to see him. They asked for the e-registration of APC members or APC recruitment. That is, if you want to join the All Progressives Congress, the e-registration exercise that is currently ongoing. They asked Governor Yusuf to suspend it for now until he has officially defected to the All Progressives Congress, meaning they've done a grand ceremony where everybody sees that he has joined the APC before they will resume the e-registration exercise. But then, what exactly has stalled Governor Yusuf from joining the APC all this while? He needs to be assured by the president and the president's political strategic team that he will indeed actually be given the automatic ticket. The APC came out to debunk any story suggesting that they promised him any automatic ticket. In fact, the APC distanced themselves from having any kind of conversation concerning that. So that has stalled Governor Yusuf's defection to the APC. But we heard that there is a real likelihood that indeed it will be happening anytime this week. As it stands, Governor Yusuf has been in Aso Villa wanting to have audience with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu concerning his defection and getting the APC automatic ticket for 2027. Now, basically, we're also saying that aside from a documented assurance of an automatic ticket, the governor is also demanding the right to nominate a minister to represent Kanu State in the Federal Executive Council and also nominate his loyalists for other federal appointments, which include those positions currently occupied by APC members from the state. So all of this agreement needs to be either agreed to, or if there is no complete agreement, then they'll come to an impasse. They'll need to compromise, but there are conditions that are on ground. And so for now, he hasn't joined until the pegs are properly fixed together. Now, the APC governors are actually trying to see how they could make space available to ensure that Kanu State is delivered for Tinubu in 2027 and also for Governor Kabir Yusuf as well of Kanu State. In that particular regard as well, Kwankwaso has expressed his disappointment and said he never supported this and that is not the way to go about it because he believes that Governor Kabir Yusuf did not need to defect to the APC. But the people of Kanu can see actually that he is doing the right thing, he's doing his work. Well, it is not surprising to see all of this. It obviously assures us that all the governors that have defected to the APC were promised automatic ticket, and Governor Kabir Yusuf wants to ensure that he is granted automatic ticket in 2027 before he joins. Between now and by Monday or Tuesday, we will eventually know indeed Governor Kabir Yusuf's fate in terms of his defection to the APC. But there are talks that since the president has asked him to see him, it is very likely that some terms and conditions by Governor Kabir Yusuf to the APC may actually be assented to. Now, something disclosed itself this weekend, which actually shocked a couple of persons, and a couple of persons are not surprised. It's concerning the United States information and how they got the information about Christian genocide. This report was published by the Cable News, and they said that they got it from the New York Times. The story has not really circulated, however, but we believe that by tomorrow you'll definitely see it in a couple of papers. Now, according to the Cable, citing the New York Times, they're claiming that a man whose name is Emeka Umagbalasi, a screwdriver trader in Onitsha, Anambra State, was the one who provided data and statistics through which Trump threatened to supposedly grant military airstrikes in Nigeria, and he was one that they cited the whole data concerning the Christian genocide. However, I want us to take a listen to this by Rep. Riley Moore, saying he would provide details, adequate details, to President Donald Trump. This was on Thursday evening. House of Rep. Riley Moore said that they're not related and that they're going to provide options on Nigeria this January. He said breaking up Nigeria will be one of the options to create a safe zone for Christians. But let's take a listen to this.
Many of us know Nigeria is the most dangerous country in the world to be a Christian. It's the most dangerous place in the world to profess your faith in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And my colleagues and I will soon, this month, we're going to brief the White House on our investigation's findings and provide the President with a series of options to help protect our brothers and sisters in Christ. I'm grateful for President Trump's steadfast leadership on this issue, and I look forward to continue to work with him to defend the persecuted. And I'll close with this thought, and this is just the way I feel about these issues. Look, the United States is a Christian nation. It is. The United States is a Christian nation that's founded on Christian principles. We have a unique duty to defend Christians wherever they are being persecuted, and I will never stop fighting for our persecuted brothers and sisters in Christ.
All right, so that was Rep. Riley Moore on Thursday, saying that they intend to give fresh reports concerning the Christian genocide in Nigeria and how to continue with it. You recall that just last week we heard that the United States of America brought in some security materials or equipment to enable the Nigerian military and the Nigerian Air Force to rout out the skies. We've also seen sustained efforts from the Nigerian Air Force as well as their ground troops in eradicating and bombing out the areas of the onslays of these terrorists, which includes ISWAP and Boko Haram. But what we have seen based on the information released by the Cable is actually what a lot of Nigerians are talking about now. The question they're asking is, could it be the $9 million lobby already at work, having to supposedly pinpoint certain persons for spreading a narrative which they consider not to be true? Or, according to them, it's not a Christian genocide, it is a genocide against both Christians and Muslims, or that the terrorists do not pick sides, do not look at religion, do not look at precisely where the person comes from. Well, according to what this report says, that on December 26, after the U.S. launched its airstrike, or rather December 25, Umagbalasi, who is the founder of the International Society for Civil Liberties and Rule of Law, otherwise called Inter-Society, is an unlikely source of research that U.S. Republican lawmakers have used to promote the misleading idea, according to them, according to the report. They wrote it that they used the data from Umagbalasi as their source for selling a misleading idea that Christians are being singled out for slaughter in Nigeria. Now, Umagbalasi, alongside his wife, run a non-governmental organization from his home. The report said U.S. lawmakers Riley Moore and Ted Cruz, who Trump had asked to probe the Christian genocide claims in Nigeria, alongside Congressman Chris Smith of New Jersey, have all cited his work. Umagbalasi was quoted as saying that he has documented 125,000 Christian deaths in Nigeria since 2009, based on research from Google searches, Nigerian media reports, secondary sources, and advocacy groups like Open Doors, a Christian organization whose data Trump has cited. Remember, this is from the Cable. They cited the New York Times. We do hope to see more revelations on this report from Umagbalasi himself, having to either confirm or deny this citation. Now, he told the New York Times that he rarely verifies his data. This is what we're reading rather, from the cable today. He also acknowledged that he seldom travels to regions where attacks have occurred and usually assumes the victim's religion based on the location of the attack. So wherever an attack takes place, based on the location of that attack, you get to know if Christians are predominantly occupy that place. So mass attacks in Benue, obviously, Plateau, you know very well, they're Christian-dominated areas, and even in some areas in Bochi, you have the Christian-dominated areas. In Kaduna as well, which is southern Kaduna, you have the Christian-dominated areas. These are the areas that Umar Balasi says whenever any attack happens there, he may not physically visit the place, but based on the region and the location, he's able to check out which religion, in that particular axis is predominantly in that axis, and then he makes his citation and his conclusions. So, for example, he says if a mass abduction or killing happens in an area where he thinks many Christians live, he assumes the victims are Christians. Now, in an interview, Umar Balasi, when asked about the source of his data, pointed to location and space of an incident or crime scene and described his methodology as one of the oldest natural methods in the world. The salesman said he has degrees in security studies, peace and conflict resolution from the National Open University of Nigeria and described himself as a very powerful and knowledgeable investigator. He says he's a criminologist. He also describes himself as an expert in the report, where he claimed there is a strategy to annihilate all Christians and Islamize Nigeria. He claimed 100,000 churches exist in Nigeria and about 20,000 of them were destroyed in the past 16 years. And asked about the source of his data, he simply said, I Googled it. Relying on information provided by 3 congressmen who have repeatedly referenced Umar Balasi's data, Trump, however, launched a volley of strikes in Nigeria during the Yuletide. But a couple of Nigerians say it's not possible for Trump and his team to rely on a particular research from one individual in Nigeria. When we saw Reverend Thomas cry out on Facebook and several social media platforms, not only that, even some of the victims in some of the communities in Benue, some of their residents who reside in the diaspora have also been writing to the US concerning the unabated killings and slaughterings in their region, which they feel the Nigerian government has been lackadaisical and cold-hearted in having to tackle that. The latest rampage that went round that saw the Pope actually had to felicitate with them was the one in Benue, where more than 200 persons were burnt to death in a very horrific method. So the question is, are these killings not taking place? And is it possible that the US did not conduct their own investigation before supposedly carrying out, or rather using Umar Balasi's data as a pointer for Trump to say he's going to do what he needs to do in Nigeria if the Christian genocide continues unabated? Would we say that there was no further investigation? What about the testimonials of victims that were in Benue State that were then to give their testimonies as to what happened? These issues have actually been very much confirmed with evidence provided. Ladies and gentlemen, in the studio with me today, like I said, it's quite an interesting scenario and quite a couple of issues we need to look into. Meanwhile, we heard that Peter Obi's supporters are pushing for zoning within the ADC. They have intensified calls for the African Democratic Congress to zone its presidential ticket to the south. An ADC chieftain and Obi supporter who spoke to Sunday Punch on condition of anonymity for fear of victimization said zoning the ticket to the south remained the easiest and most reliable path to unseating the president in 2027. According to the source, Obi enjoys widespread national appeal, arguing that a southern ticket would further consolidate the emerging opposition coalition. He said leaders of the party are beginning to realize that if you want to unseat the president, who is from the South, zoning the ticket to the South will allow southern presidential aspirants within the fold of the ADC to contest, and one of them will actually emerge. In the same vein, we've heard as well that former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo has actually advocated for a Peter Obi and Rabiu Kwankwaso ticket, saying that Atiku shouldn't actually put himself in the running. However, Atiku's media spokesperson Paul Ibe has said that they're not threatened about anything. Nobody's stepping down for anybody, and they're all going to fight it out in the ADC to get a ticket. Peter Obi is seen as someone who supposedly has the thickest support, the thickest movement, while President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is perceived and seen as someone who has the aura, the mantra of Sage Awolowo. And Atiku is one person who they think that over the years he has been contesting several elections in this country, that possibly this could be a chance for him to get that slide, being the fact that some aspects of the North are not happy with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But if we look at the current scenario, with most of the governors defecting to the APC, you have about 27 or 28 of them, including Abba Kabil Yusuf, if he eventually joins the APC. Is it not that a complete lockdown of the South, the Southeast, some aspects of the Southeast already has the president's support? We understand what it is for these governors to defect. They need to really work hard from state level to ensure that results that emerge actually amplifies the side of the APC. It's now left for Nigerians to decide if indeed their vote will be protected and no form of cheating will take place. Let me introduce my guest in the studio today. I actually have right here Barrister Joe Nwokedi. Barrister Joe Nwokedi is a political, national, and social affairs commentator. Barrister Joe Nwokedi, good evening. And okay, they're still working on Barrister Joe Nwokedi's mic. All right, and I have Mr. Tony Bata right here in the studio with us as well. Good evening, Mr. Tony Bata.
Good evening, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you. How are you?
I'm fine.
Okay, so if you're joining us on YouTube, you'll see a certain video as to how some combat training took place at the time when supposedly the US did what they know how to do in certain occasions when they come in. If you're joining us, then you'll see us streaming that on YouTube. Mr. Tony and Mr. Joe Ibukwe, Mr. Joe, Joe Nwokedi. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. Let me start with you since you're still working on Barrister Joe's mic. Did you hear what Reverend Imo said? I played the insight. Did you pay attention?
Yes, I paid attention.
Okay, did you listen to the report by The Cable citing the New York Times about a man who is the publisher of Inter-Society? Well, the way they framed it was a petty screwdriver trader, right, in Onisha, that he was one that the data he had or the research he had is basically him personally. It was his research that the US used and that the whole phrase of Christian genocide emanated. How do you see this? Coming just a few days ago, we heard about the $9 million lobbying, whatever, by the Nigerian government using a particular legal firm based in one of the northern states.
You know, when you are wrapping up your commentary, I love what you said. You said that the lobbyist or the money they gave is working, or, you know, that's the way you put it, which means that if we go by the way they are portraying the whole thing or the way they are painting the scenario, that means it's like they are the Nigerian government or people that are working for them are really doing their job with the American state, in the sense that what we are hearing and the way they are painting the whole scenario or the evidence means that somebody from somewhere that may not have the requires data analysis or evidence is the one pushing it. But the question is that if this man from Onitsha, the petty trader, is he the one that provided the information that helped the American government to keep the
That's what the report is saying now, that it was his, again, for them to have seen this and his name, they even put his picture there. So I think they want to be very particular, so it doesn't seem as if you're prescribing an entire group to be the reason for whatever. But the big question is, the report is out now, and they're trying to make it seem as if the Christian genocide is not a Christian.
Yeah, that's what they are trying. The Nigerian government have been
and
doing
that
that.
based on the data provided by this man, whom according to them did not go through the verifiable measures, he wasn't at the scene. He compiled several reports dating back to 2009, mostly from Google, and any location that an attack is carried out, he's able to determine who are the religious group dominant in that region. And then that's how he did his breakdown and highlight. Do you want to tell me that the US themselves did not carry out any investigation at all?
It can't be for me as an individual. It cannot be. But you know that the Nigerian government have been trying to suppress this genocide by telling us or telling the world it is not like that and this and that. And for Americans to come up, that means they must have their own independent investigation before such strike. But for us to be seeing this, I've said it before that all these world powers, America inclusive, always they can't spend their money in vain. Whatever they are doing is business, and we should know this.
Barrister Joe Walker, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
Yes, happy Sunday. Please come closer to the microphone. So, Barrister Joe, so is it surprising to hear? Because I remember that when this information just broke out, when Trump was able to start highlighting interest in Nigeria concerning the Christian genocide, the first thing that Obama said when he went to visit several media outlets, he said it was IPOB. That was the first thing he said, that it was IPOB that was circulating that information. And now, eventually, after what happened 2 days ago, where we heard that the Nigerian government was lobbying to supposedly give an accurate information of the security situation in this country, so they don't go with the myopic one, we're hearing about this report. I'm trying to track most news outlets. For now, as of today, I haven't seen it, but only the cable has published it. How will you react to this?
I mean, that's just like terms of like shift attention, divert attention. So it is not something that anybody should give serious attachment to. America will not work on a single report or data. You forget that they have their CIA, their intels, their people here, and then so many other means of galvanizing information and news for them to be appropriately and precisely informed for taking action. Some people reside in US, some people reside in the UK, some people stay. I mean, priests are there, even the Chuku and so many priests. I mean, these things are things that we see in videos, we see communities coming out to cry, we see mass burials. We see, I don't even know why somebody would raise this as an issue. All these people, Boala and the rest of them, that they hired.
Just on the 17th, we saw an entire family killed.
So,
just like that.
And
the woman has 6 children.
Sometimes they take Nigerians as people that are dollars, that are stupid people, that they can come up with what they believe kind of analysis, and Nigerians just absorb those things and they're fine with them. Are we fools? I start the Plateau. I know what happened in Plateau. I don't believe this in Plateau. We are arrested. And then we saw Philippines that were arrested, and then the names were changed from the original, ancestral names to Islamic names.
Do you think
we saw people coming up to carry out these activities, and they shout Allah Akbar or whatever. They don't hide it. So the young man in Onisha might have provided his own data to support whatever Americans also rely on. And these are things America will verify, will review, will scrutinize.
If you recall during the gathering,
when accepting that,
when the US was investigating, they held a congress where we saw live evidence of persons. Exactly.
But the problem we have in Nigeria is that whatever that happens in Nigeria, an Igbo man must be at the front. They will still find a way to go around and find a way to hang it on an Igbo man. It's a problem that we have
this cannot be accepted.
Have to deal with.
An Igbo
when there was NSAS in Lagos, 2 Igbo people set ablaze 200 buses. Imagine that miraculous kind of 200 buses were set on fire by only 2 Igbo people.
That was a claim.
That was a claim. So we knew what happened during NSAS, but at the end of it was only 2 Igbo boys that set ablaze 200 vehicles. Just imagine. You know what happened in Abuja during that of weekend, that robbery in Abuja? They paraded somebody that was paraded already in Lagos as an Igbo man responsible for that robbery. Before we now began to see people that are responsible for robbery in Abuja. In as much as Nigerians will still find a way to shift their problems and Igbo man, they will not find solutions to their problems. Nigeria will keep on going down. Be open-minded, be transparent in analyzing whatever the problem they have as a country, and deal with it. Stop finding a way to shift left. We are living with genocide in Nigeria. We are aware of that. I serve the Plateau. I can speak some of their languages. I know my boys have been killed. I know those are helping me my voice. I was the Governors Award there. I know so many of the local governments. I was into awareness and the orientation of other uses to take the message of anti-corruption. So I said the local government. So I know the place. So this is not something that people will begin to say somebody said. America is not like a country that begin to rely on unverified data. I can't make sure. Is it the first America is going to war outside America soil? They have their intel, they have people around, they have people on ground. They pay people for information in Nigeria. They have people in high places that give them the information they want.
So what
they
now?
Attention.
Okay, so the question, because I'm wondering, Trump has done what he did. He has said that if the Nigerian government is not precise and decisive in handling this from their body language, there will be another airstrike. But we've seen the movement of the Nigerian security. I mean, you've seen the Minister of Defense granting interviews and saying that he has told these guys, if you know that this is who they are, you're shooting. Shoot aside. So there is no waiting to investigate. You do what you need to do. We've seen how
the America saying America worked on unverified data. And the data that is on that doesn't I mean, you know what that means?
It doesn't mean that there is a political agenda to this. Because the US has a way of going through their own training, finding out their own information, going through their route. Yes, exactly.
This kind of embarrassing information should be dealt with. It's a natural US as a country. With level of the technology and every supply of everything they have.
But then I want to add something. Since the saga of lobbying American president or whatever, have you ever had the American government debunk such an information?
About what?
About lobbying, against trying to cover it, and the Nigerian government has been lobbying to make sure.
Lobbying is normal.
No, even if it's normal, I know it's normal, but it depends the angle, not this open day life issue.
No, sir, they do it because according to what we heard, that the Biafran group has also been lobbying.
As per lobbying, most of this news, like you said, supposed to be verified. Yes. It's supposed to be verified, and most of when they carry out some of these things, and we know that Nigerian government, particularly this APC government, has been.
But you know that someone did all this thing. When they were contributing and saying that this was part of what they were trying to do, to give all the verifiable information to the American government when he was in Finland, that the southeast of Biafra needed to have its own country, to find its own way. So they've been pushing this.
The push is one thing, and for American government to accept it.
Okay.
And also for you to know, because there was an investigation I did, I found out that most of these things they will tell you they have gone to UN. They didn't go anywhere. I've said this in time without number, telling our Igbo people these things are propaganda.
People were taking advantage of them.
Yes, I myself, I did an investigation on the US. I found out that they didn't submit anything.
So you mean all the contributions and dollars and euros that were made online?
These things are scam. I'm telling you.
Saying that Simon Ekpa scammed his followers.
Yes, authoritatively, I did a personal investigation. I found out that they didn't submit anything to massage the people, and people will be carried away with what they are doing.
You see these idiots. These are the idiots who cannot pity themselves, who does not know their left and right. Look at him. It has come to the side of Simon Ekpa and Biafra. Now he is telling you that I did investigation myself. I verified this thing. I went to the United States. It has come to the issue of Biafra. It has come to the issue of Biafra, Simon Ekpa and his own brother. Look at how agitated he is. Look at how he's giving facts. But this idiot is in Nigeria. It's in Nigeria. The Nigerian government is telling all lies, committing massacre in Biafran territory, disorganizing Biafra land. He cannot provide any evidence or investigation. This thing now they are talking about another one man in Onitsha that make a verification they use. Look at him sitting there. People were going to the United States to testify about what is happening. This idiot that is sitting here now, shouting because they mentioned Simon Ekpa, could not go and present any single evidence. He could not go and present anything. But now, Biafra has been mentioned. Simon Ekpa, he's not claiming, oh, they didn't lobby. They are just scamming people. They did not lobby anybody. This bastard, this idiot that is talking here, this idiot is talking. Everything that we did was on video. When Mazi Simon Ekpa was starting this very agitation, his meeting with Finnish government was on video. Even before the campaign of Donald Trump, I still have a video where Mazi Simon Ekpa sent this idiot that called himself Prime Minister now to go and speak. He was invited to speak in Trump campaign. He was there. The meeting they made with most of the lawmakers in the United States, we are on video, not picture, video confirmation. The lobby group that we lobby, the names is verifiable. Ask this idiot, where did he verify? The lobby group that was lobbying under Mazi Samoneba, their name is available. Their pictures are available. You can go to that lobbying company in the United States, in the DC, and confirm. Tell me the verification this bastard did that he said, oh, they were just scamming people because he had Biafra. He just had Biafra. He had Mazi Samoneba. He became so agitated. Oh, they didn't do anything. They didn't go anywhere. They didn't do this. It was, but these are things we have in videos, which I have played many of the videos here. We have played many of the videos. The address of the lobbying firm that Mazi Samoneba was using then, their name, Morgan Global, whatever, it is still there. It is verifiable. Even if you can't go to the US, you can log in. You can call them and confirm, were you lobbying for Biafra? And they will tell you people they met and how they went, what they did. This clown, look at him. Look at him. That is how they discredit their own. When it comes to their own issue, they discredit it. They will tell you it is not working. But when they come to the Nigerian that is putting them in captivity, he cannot talk. Oh. This clown cannot talk. These are a bunch of idiots. Look at them. Once Simon Ekpa is mentioned, Biafra is mentioned, oh, it is scam. They are not doing anything. They couldn't do anything. I verified. I went to the US. I went everywhere. I did my best. Nonsense. Nonsense. Idiots. I pity you. I pity you. You are lucky you have somebody like Mazi Simon Ekpa and Mazi Nnamdi, who even after all this, your idiocy, they still continue to pursue your own freedom. You are lucky. You have somebody like Mazi Simon Ekpa, even with all this your wickedness, all this your rubbish that you talk every time, they are still continue fighting for you. Bunch of idiots. You hear them? This is the reason why we come to watch their video. This kind of talk now is where we're going. And tomorrow morning I will still bring it and talk about this nonsense. It is because of these idiots. It has gotten to Mazi Simon Ekpa. Oh, I verified, I did. And what nonsense did he verify? It wasn't a secret when Mazi Simon Ekpa was here. He wasn't doing the secret. The informations, the date, and the amount paid were in public. It was in public. The amount paid to the lobbying firm, the name of the firm is there. Morgan Global is there. Everybody knows the name of the lobbying firm. But look at him. Oh, it is a lie. It is a scam. It is because they mentioned Mazi Simon, they mentioned Biafra. Idiots.
Sure. Seriously? All that money was not used for what they promised was going to be used for. We saw an entire conference of what is
the legitimacy of what they are doing? What is if actually you have taken time to read how a country can be independent, have taken time to read that to open your eyes, national convention.
Yes.
Open your eyes to that these guys were like scamming.
You are an idiot. You are the one that's an idiot. You read nothing and you know nothing on how to form a government. Go and read the Montevideo Convention, how it was formed. Go and check how countries are formed, check how other countries are formed, other countries that got their independence, how did they get? Go and verify. We are not dumbs like you. We are not clowns like people like you who come to the studio to come and look for bread to eat. Agent of the zoo that claims to be a Biafra. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. What do you know? How countries were formed. Mazi Simon Ekpa was making a video on that every blessed day. On how country was formed, how country were formed. Countries that have their government in exile, how they did, what they did, I have been playing that video over and over. Idiots, clowns like this, they don't know. That is why they sit in their station and they talk rubbish. You are the one that should go and learn and lecture yourself.
Biafra independence. You have to look at the number of proportion of Biafrans that willingly submitted to that agitation.
You are an idiot. Looking at the people that willingly submitted to that agitation, I can bet you that more than 50 million Biafrans are willingly submitted to that. We conducted a self-referendum. It wasn't done by force. And if you feel a clown, an idiot like you, feel that you have common sense and something to offer, go and tell Nigerian government to conduct a census. Then you will know the number of Biafrans who want to leave Nigeria. I can bet you that 95% of Biafrans are ready, more than ready to leave the contraction for Nigeria. But these clowns and idiots come online and talk wrong rubbish, talk nonsense.
Let me, before you continue, you will continue. I want you to continue, please. Let me give you before you will continue. You know that the people that we gave as Sorry, that's Ojukwu was able to pronounce that, and the world listened to him. We have governors, we have rep members. That are the people that are supposed to start this agitation by calling.
I don't have to listen to these idiots because I don't have time. It is late already. But tomorrow I will revisit these clowns. This particular area, I will use it for my topic tomorrow so that I don't waste my time on them. Tomorrow I will decimate all this nonsense they gather here to talk. Bunch of clowns and idiots. Bunch of clowns and idiots. I don't have their time. I can't skip my sleep because of this kind of individuals. Tomorrow, I urge every one of us that is here, try to join us in tomorrow morning program. Tomorrow morning program, we will deal with them. All this bunch of idiots and clowns, we will deal with them. We will deal with them. These are the saboteurs. Idiots. Bunch of idiots helping the Janjaweed to hold us captive. Bunch of idiots. I thank everybody who has been able to be patient with me. My time has already passed. I've surpassed the time I'm supposed to be spending here. So I'm going to see you people tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, we will decimate these idiots. Thank you so much. May Chukwu come again and bless everyone that joined us. May Chukwu come again and bless our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ebanjoko, and Mazi Simon, and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Thank you so much for watching. See you tomorrow. We will deal with them tomorrow. Thank you and good night.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. There was a nation living in peace and unity. Yeah. They are people with love and harmony. Oh, yeah. They saw greatness rise up to its purity. With another people of different culture, adherent heritage, bias and oppressive. Oh, I see. A nation from trigger of Africa, rising with strength and might and power. In due time, nobody gonna oppress us. Rather, you all gonna embrace her. With your flag, with your flag, with your flag, with your flag. Oh, yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our